Hey guys, how's it going? I'm KingGeorge, and I'm going to be partnering up with Ubisoft for this new 4-part tip series. This first video right now is going to be a very basic video. It's my top 3 things I think people should do before they ever launch into an actual game of Siege. And if you don't know who I am, once again, I'm KingGeorge. I am an ex-professional player in Rainbow Six Siege, and now am a full-time Twitch streamer and YouTuber. So yeah, let's just hop right into the video. Really basic thing first, head into this little menu over here and go to the options, matchmaking preferences. If you don't want to play hostage in secure area, so rescue the hostage or secure the area or secure the biohazard container, you can turn those off. I personally would if you intend to play ranked in this game, because ranked is only bomb. For volume settings, these are all personal preference as well. The only one I would definitely say to leave on is generally turn off music and turn the dialogue volume on to at least 50, because operators in the game audibly yell or scream when they take damage a lot of times. And for your mouse sensitivity, this is very, very much personal preference. My advice is to use 4 or 800 DPI in your mouse, and then adjust your in-game sensitivity from that point forward. The easiest thing to do is whenever I'm playing a new game, I just find 2 points to move back and forth from, and just play with my sensitivity from that point and kind of feel what's natural. So say I'm starting over here, I'll flick to here, just, not obviously swiping slowly, but like flick over to here and try to like land as close as I can. And I'll just kind of play with my sensitivity until I'm kind of landing in that general vicinity, and then I'll just start playing the game and kind of go from there. So yeah, that's a good way to kind of figure out your base sensitivity, I suppose. Gadget deployment always should be on advanced, and same with drone deployment. So when you throw a drone, you'll have to manually get on the drone afterwards. This is really important, because if you throw a drone, a lot of times people will just run out on you if you don't have this setting on. Advanced gadget deployment allows you to be more in control of placing your gadgets down. For example, say you're placing a thermite charge and you get a call out saying someone's pushing you, or you hear someone close by, you can quickly exit the animation and be ready to take a gunfight or reposition yourself. For aiming, I do use, I generally, for most people, would probably recommend hold. I actually use hold in every other game that I play except for Siege. I don't know why, I just like toggle aim in this game, personally. But yeah, and then after that, you can customize all of your keys and settings if there's anything that you personally wanted to change. But yeah, we'll head over to step 2, which is attachments. All right, we're going to head over to a basic attachments overview now. Click the operators tab, and we'll just use Ash for this example. She's one of the most popular operators in the game. And we'll go over sites first. So we'll select her G36. There are 4 main sites in Rainbow Six Siege: an ACOG, a holographic site, a reflex site, and a red dot. The popularity is generally pretty much in about that order as well. The ACOG is generally preferred in most situations because it's really good at medium to long ranges. It's really good for countering spawn peaks, and small angles and stuff that people will hold tight angles. And it is good at close range as well. If you know you're going to be in a lot of close range engagements, or you just prefer having a holo site or a 1x site, you have 3 options available. I personally like the holographic site the most, but I do use a reflex site on shotguns. There are other sites in the game, but there's weapon specific, generally speaking. So the next part are barrels. So there's 5 types of barrels. The 3 main ones that people use are flash hider, compensator, and muzzle brake. They do also have an extended barrel and suppressor, but they're very rarely used. Generally speaking, flash hiders are used for burst fire, or spraying, where the first few bullets are a bit more accurate. A muzzle brake is best for tapping, and a compensator is best for long-term spraying. Most weapons I generally have flash hiders on, but it's all personal preference, and I do think that you should go into training grounds with each of these attachments and test it out. So if you don't know how to get there, click this menu, click training grounds, do a lone wolf normal, and just kind of test out the attachments. The suppressor is, the only advantages of the suppressor are that there's no tracers, and it's obviously quieter, but it does have a pretty big damage drop off, so I personally don't think it's worth it. And the extended barrel extends the range before damage starts falling off, but for most guns it's not worth it because engagements are generally pretty close range. For the weapons as well, they also have two different types of grips. There's a vertical grip or an angled grip. A vertical grip will generally decrease the weapon's recoil, make the recoil more manageable. I generally will pick a vertical grip when available. An angled grip will help you transition between hip firing and ADSing faster. So when you're just running to when you're looking through your ACOG sight or holographic sight or any other sight on your weapon. I personally generally use vertical grips, but the angled grips definitely do have a place, and I do use them on certain guns. The last attachment is the underbarrel, which there's only one option. It's a laser. I generally recommend against using these, except for on shotguns. And my logic and reasoning behind that is, when you have a laser on your weapon and say you're aiming at a wall, the enemy could see that laser when it's on the wall, and they could just pre-fire you, and it can give away your position. The reason I do think it's good on a shotgun is because it tightens the spread of the shotgun, and generally speaking, I think it's worth it on those. On pistols, there's two attachments technically, but there's a suppressor or there's a muzzle brake, and I would always recommend using the muzzle brake personally. And there's no reason not to use it over no attachment. It just reduces the recoil. So, and then, yeah, so that's about it. Just a very basic attachment overview, because you'll have to go through this. You'll have to go through this before you head into a game. So we'll move on to basic operators and lineups. All right, so for step 3, we're going to go over just some extremely basic attacker and defender lineups, what operators you should kind of be picking, and we'll go over both sides. To start, we'll head over to attack. The most vital operators to have are a hard breacher of some kind, generally every single time. So that's a thermite, a Habana, or a Maverick. I would just about every single sight in the game, these operators will be extremely useful. Sometimes more than one is always nice to have. It's really important to be able to spot the difference between a hard wall and a soft wall. It's really easy once you know what to look for. A hard wall that's been manually reinforced will have a reinforcement on it. It looks like this. You won't have any other walls that have been manually turned from soft walls to hard walls without this on it. And you'll notice from the other side that there's little pegs on the other side. You'll either see the metal reinforcement side or the pegs. And then generally those walls will be attempted to be denied by the defenders, so you'll want to bring a Thatcher to destroy that stuff. So generally a hard breacher and a Thatcher. Thatcher is an essential operator anytime he's not banned. He has a great weapon, primary weapon, and also is probably one of the most useful operators in the game. He can destroy or disable electronic gadgets. If there's battery charges down or a cage charge or mute jammers, he could throw one of his EMP balls, and it will destroy everything within the radius. Additionally, some stuff will be just disabled, like Wamais and Valkyrie cameras and default cameras. Kali can also do the job, but Thatcher's definitely much better at it. Then you'll want to bring some type of soft destruction, which can destroy soft walls, ceilings, and floors. So these are the two main ones, Buck and Sledge. They also have grenades, which is really nice for clearing barbed wire, shields, and other utility. But there are other operators that are also very good. Just about any operator can be a floor soft breacher, because a lot of operators have breaching charges. So as long as you select those, you can easily shoot through the floor. A lot of operators also have secondary shotguns as well, such as Jackal. He has a secondary shotgun. Gridlock does, which can also be used for soft breaching. Sophia and Ash have launchers, which can break the floor, or you can just simply shoot through the floor. But yeah, these operators are generally pretty good. You'll want to have a soft breacher of some kind. Past this point, there's a lot of versatility that you can have. I generally like to take some type of flank watch, so either a Gridlock or a Nomad. They put devices down that make it more difficult to flank. Gridlock puts track stingers down on the ground that will damage opponents when they walk over them, and then Nomad puts air jabs that will knock the enemy down when they run past it. So yeah, and then past that, you're pretty open. I generally say taking extra sets of explosives, so Zofia or Ash, plus they have great weapons as well, or extra sets of grenades. always work, or Kappa Tower IQ are nice for helping get plants down or helping remove utility. We'll head over to the defenders now. The most vital operator, I would say that just about, I can't really think of a situation where you wouldn't want to take a Jaeger. He's really important because he has a good gun, barbed wire, and his active defense systems can stop grenades from coming in. Womai also does the job as well, but I feel like Jaeger is a better choice, generally speaking. You'll want to have some type of wall denial so that Thermite and Habana can't get in as easily, and Maverick. It's really important when we talk about having reinforced walls that you deny the walls. So generally, Thermite or Habana will attempt to open a wall. When they do that, it's your job as a defender to try to stop that or at least slow that down. So you could do that with a battery from Bandit, and you could trick it actively or pre-place it. You can use a KingGeorge, pre-place, or trick it, and mute jammers, which probably should pretty much generally be pre-placed for the most part. Also, Maverick is there. You cannot deny a Maverick opening a wall, but you can still Bandit trick, Cage trick around it, and you could shoot back at the Maverick. So you want to take a Bandit, a Mute, or a Cade to stop wall denial. Additionally, what's nice about Mute and Cade as well is they do have shotguns, and you will need to open up multiple rotation holes and walls. You'll kind of get the feel for that the more you play the game. But Mira also has a secondary shotgun as well, which is really nice. Same one as Jackal. And she has really useful mirrors that you can see through one way. So they can generally help defend the site a lot better, especially if you're not comfortable moving around too much. You could set up a mirror and just kind of sit behind it and, kind of have the enemies come to you. So past that, information operators are always really good. So Valkyrie, Echo, Pulse, Mozzie. There's a lot of good Maestro, a lot of good info operators. So you want to have cameras that you can get on and assist your team with. Trap operators are also good, like Ella, Legion. Capcan less so, but he can be a pretty good operator as well. Shields can also be used as info on Goyo, or say like other operators will have shields as well, like Frost, that you can use and put up. And you could see through this different slots in the shield, and you could fire it on enemies from a safe position, just pop up. So yeah, that's other than that, you could always take a Doc or somebody else, or Rook, which are always good. They have ACOGs on their guns, one of the few operators on defense left. Generally, Echo's a little bit better of a choice, but they are good fragging operators as well. So yeah, obviously any of these operators, that's the coolest thing about Rainbow Six Siege, in my opinion, is that any operator in the game can be used in basically any situation, because at the end of the day, every weapon in the game is a one-hit headshot. Yeah, any of them can be used, and there's so many different strategies, and there's no one correct way to play the game, but this is just a really basic overview to kind of give you guys an idea of when you do get into a game, operators to pick. I just want to thank you guys very, very, very much for watching the video. Once again, I'm KingGeorge. If you want, check the description below for the Ubisoft Twitch channel. We'll all be doing some live streams there. So thank you guys very much again, and great one.